Alejandro, do your editing magic. Whip me up an intro. Make it as bad as you want.
Hey. Okay. This is some sort of reality show. Where are the cameras? Got everybody in on it, huh?
Michael, just hit menu.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Welcome back. Took some notes from the last video. First, wearing a hat now. We know we don't want to see the head. Also, it's actually because I didn't shave it. Secondly, I know to organize these videos so they're hip and quicker. I think it's better when I know the few edits I want to talk about instead of me just rambling on about garbage. Maybe you guys will like that, maybe not. As for this video, there isn't anything crazy new that we didn't talk about in the Double Dash one. For example, the shaky text that we talked about prior. Let's talk about this little hunk of cheese here. First, we have this new background asset I made for this video. This one was very simple. I wanted a dark background because some footage is not complemented very well when you have a light background. I've learned that over the years. Sometimes you just want a nice, pretty background like this. And all this is a few starbursts popping. And it's not very much, it's really a few things. I kind of wanted to make it a little bit more elaborate, and I might redo it or expand upon it. But for what it is, it's fine. What I do think I should explain, however, is the palette. The palette here is super simplistic. The colors are pretty defined. I've defined a palette I wanted to use for videos since the video game music video because I wanted you to be able to tell it's one of my videos, right down to the colors. And this kind of sports that. The dark background is not black, it's a light purpley blue. Barely tell, but I wanted that specifically. Why is there 2 pixel green over here? My favorite way to quickly and effectively work with an After Effects project, where you go edit original and it'll open After Effects just like that. So you don't need to open brothel. Both programs, you can easily just access it through Premiere. Saves time. I know it's like the minute-to-minute interactions you have in this game we call editing. It's all about the optimization. I speedrun editing and I'm going to be a world record holder. Okay, here we are, Kirby. We start here. What all of this is a 3D layer. Let's just look at this one on the left here. As you can see, if you press down your mouse middle button, this is standard for most programs. If you hold down your mouse middle button, you can drag around shit. But all these lines here are actually individual images. If we go to a later time here, you'll see that I have selected Sonic. And when you realize what these are, you start to realize that they're actually placed from the distance. The top of the screen and the bottom here are actually further back on the Z-axis. This is a top view. If we were looking from the front, you really can't glean a lot of information from that. And then as you can see, this little cone here is the camera. So it starts there at a negative Z position and it moves all the way back. Then you can see that beautiful star background, and then we just do a little bit of stuff here with Kirby. Nothing crazy, but I just wanted to do that effect where Kirby is stronger than all of them. So let's just start here. Let's throw on All Might. Gotta love My Hero Academia. Those new chapters, and Sonic. Basically cut from the same cloth. Now, they're not the same size, so I would resize them so they generally are the same dimension, or they fit within the same sort of ratio. So the reason you do that is if you do a 3D layer with a small image and a big image, they're gonna look the same size. It's gonna be further back on the x-axis, but it's gonna look big, and it's like, oh, they're the same size when really you just moved it back. You know what I'm saying? So make sure they're the same size and scale. So in Transform in After Effects, you have these things to tinker with. Scale is the one right now, and usually if you wanted to mimic 3D, you'd pretend something is far away by making it small. With actual 3D, you can actually do that. So you select all of your layers, and you make them a 3D layer. Bam! They're 3D now. This doesn't really do anything unless you have a camera. To add a camera, you right-click, New Camera, and you just have a new camera. The millimeter determines how wide the focal range is, I'm pretty sure. I'm not crazy knowledgeable about actual videography. I do know the lens width makes it so 80 millimeter. I guess that just means it zooms in further. or it gets more detail. 15 or 20 is usually what I go with. It's not, doing stuff like this, I'm not using it to the nth degree. There are people that do crazy shit with After Effects. This is a total disclaimer that this is a beginner tutorial in order to just do easy motion graphics for any sort of video. Anyways, so now that we have the 3D layer, you can simply select on this left side. Usually your After Effects window looks like this. Then you can change that by having two views, having them horizontal, or if you want to have them vertical, you can do that. And then simply you just drag like this. Sonic is now behind All Might on this left side. It doesn't really work unless we have a background going, because then it looks better. Stewart large, back and better than ever. Usually when I have a background, I don't make it a 3D layer. Actually, no, I do sometimes. If I want to have it, if it's just a color, doesn't really matter. If I want it to interact and be like, oh, look, we're getting closer, then it's there. So then we can go and transform the camera. Let's start it as close to Sonic as we can. Right here. Dart Little has to start back here, so he's behind the camera. Yeah, and then we drag it back. And then that's usually what I go for. And then I like to do fun stuff where I'm like, okay, I know where the camera's gonna go, so let's move All Might's leggies and have him go in for a whoa! Whoa! And then we zoom out and our Lord and Savior Stuart Little. But yeah, super simple, very fun to do. And it's also, it does not take a lot of time. Let's continue with this. So it played out the footage. Then at this point, I placed Mario, I turned the screen black, and then I changed the text. And all I had to do was find the accurate text for the background. It's not exactly correct, I don't think, but I'm not certain that anyone noticed or would ever notice. There are people that spend their lives fighting and dying for fonts. And for all of you out there, you are important. Please keep on the fight, but make sure in the next 10 years the puffy gross 80s fonts come back. I love them, please. The rest of the video utilizes a lot of the same effects, such as a lot of that fractal noise and displacement mapping. It's very effective. I do it for like characters if I want to give them like an aura or just text. Very easy to use, and when we do the Sandler stuff, it made it very fun. Speaking of Sandler, there was a lot of times in the video you probably noticed he like zoomed around. There's that one part where he fights Giorno, and Giorno zip zams and zippity bops right past him, and there's like a cool like speed line. When he fights Poochie in Yoshi's Woolly World, Yoshi shakes. Yoshi's shaking is very simple as well. It's just a couple of layers that are faded out, blurred, and then their motion's blurred and duplicated, but mismatched a few steps. So this was all the same layer, I just moved it 1 or 2 frames beyond one another, so it looked like he was moving so fast, and then he goes wham. The next part of doing the speedy stuff, oh god, this part of the video, by the way, was chugging. This was one of the most intense parts of the video, and I'm worried it's gonna crash on me. So that is really just, if we wanted to take all the effects off, I don't know why it's horizontally flipped. There's a Gaussian blur, just to blur out some stuff. But really it's a mosaic. And then, when you break it down, so all of the motion really is just taking the width and the height and just doing this. Squish and pull. And then the mosaic, oh god. The mosaic, you push the horizontal blocks down to 1. Oh, it's off. Well, whatever. Push them down to 1, and then the vertical blocks, so it creates this tearing, and it picks the colors and it stretches them, essentially. All together, as you can see, when it breaks down just like this, just our guy Yoshi. A little large, but it's him all the same. And that essentially is the speed lines that have been done. So everywhere in the video where you see that, in the intro, there was a couple of more things done, which I'll go into next, but essentially, let's just get Yoshi all alone here. Started with Yoshi. What you have to do, however, is this little uniform scale. If you have it on, it'll make everything grow and shrink. It's very helpful. But if you don't want that and you want to stretch it out like this, that's what you do. So essentially, go like this to squish him and make it speedy. Then we add, I don't know why there's a horizontal flip. Then we add the Gaussian blur, just for horizontal direction. If it's upwards, it looks like that, but we want it to be stretched this way. And then we add the mosaic. Mosaic is the real moneymaker here, which causes it to do that. And it extends. You really just start with the layer as it is. So when you place it beside, you place it with the character actually moving. So it would do that. And if you match up the heights, this is how I would do it. Then you could have Yoshi and Poochie. You could also do a mask just to, you know, select what part you want, or just move it like so. And just like that, you have it so it looks like he's moving pretty fast. You could also add a blur to the top layer Yoshi, just so it looks like he's moving fast. You could even do your own version of this. This is just sort of a quick way. You'll find a lot of art is about resource management and time management, and how you can use as much time to do as much as possible. It's great to make very nice things and very pretty things and spend a lot of time, but if you're trying to make a whole product and you focus so intently on the individual parts just to a colossal amount, you'll find that you're making slow progress. So that's why I typically like finding these little tricks here and there and reusing them, because they save a lot of damn time. You can make presets out of all this. I should also probably mention that once it's done, it's been done. So let's go to the last effect. I'm sorry, Alejandro, for making you edit a bajillion years. So here's the very end. So here, you'll notice I'm freaking out. It looks pretty dang cool. It shouldn't look as cool as it is, but we have, the only thing that's going on here is a wave warp. And in After Effects, you can see the darker pink thing on the timeline. I added the fractal noise and displacement to a screenshot of me. So alone, it looks like that. And it actually looks like it's taking a screenshot from, or it actually looks like I'm sitting there, but this is a screenshot, so it can make the illusion that footage is not screenshot. It looks part of the footage. And then on top of just that, I added a wave warp. Wave warp can give you these sorts of effects, and they're really fucking awesome. Animated a bit, so let's zoom in to show you exactly what's happening. I made it so there are fewer. If we go in super close, you can see just what it's doing. Wave warp, these are all essentially waves, but I've reduced the amount in size. So if bigger, it'll do this. And then you can sort of understand the larger the wave width, the more wavy it is. And you know, that works for some effects if you want to do some fun stuff with that. I've definitely done that in the past, but in order to achieve the video effect, we go down, make these waves so small that they become lines, and you can't even differentiate them. It also can do something else, where now we have 3 Alaxes here. How did that happen? 1 was enough! Ah! I don't know why it does this, because I think this is just an illusion. Because if we do this, that's how it comes out. You know what I'm saying? It's just the wave, and it's only really 1, but I think what's going on here is because there are so many small waves, it creates this optical illusion within After Effects. I think. It looks very cool, doesn't it? That's all I really do. So this is only, when we really look at it, oh, the wave speed kinda... Oh, the wave speed goes down to 1 to 0, because if it's not 0, then I think it moves. Yes. So, but I wanted, you can even use this if you wanted to do a VHS effect, but I didn't want it to move. Instead, I wanted it to be stopped, because it's paused. But honestly, it would look good even if I didn't do that. And with the fractal noise and the movement, looks great. Couple that with this top layer. Look at this. You never want that in your life. Let me tell ya. Quite literally. Altogether, it came out pretty cool. Oh, ew, ew. That's what it looked like. You can see the same thing goes on with the intro. The exact same thing. I did the fractal noise on the intro with the displacement map. Froze it. I also did a few layering things, blend mode, so it could look like the colors are tearing. That's always really fun to do, but it's an extra step if you want to do it. And then I just produced the same layer, and as you can see, stretched it. If you don't want any of that, you can see it's stretched with the blur, tint, and mosaic, and it's the same layer when we take that off. And this was sort of funny. I know everyone likes to see the cat footage. How was the cat? Where is it? All of this is Mr. Cat. This was actually a camera transition. But if we take off the Ultra key, there's a thing you can use to green screen, and there's a mask on him, so taking that off, you can see is just a little bugger sitting. And this is old footage. I did this like 2019 or 2018. But yeah, if I get cat footage, I usually get it all at once because I don't like making him do anything he doesn't want to do. And he's really good, like, don't get me wrong. Like, look at him, he's just sitting. He loves it. He loves the attention. Look at him, he is yawning. And then I'm playing with a toy in the background. People wonder how I get him to do things. I don't have the toy here, but I just go, hey cat, how are you? He's like, oh!
Canonical feats I've...
And?
Whoa, cat, did something just happen?
I like that ending a lot. It basically makes the video so it never existed, which is perfect for shitpost content on this channel. Love it. Yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. I guess the final thing is the Sandler... Oh, this is my iPad. Very pretty. Essentially, I actually took a long time because I wanted it to be... It's sort of hard to see. I wanted to get the proportions correct because... you know, I like doing... My style is cartoony, so whenever I have to do realistic proportions, I can do it, it just takes longer. And I definitely wanted to get that JoJo pose because it was a reusable asset I used the entire video. So maybe I'll do... When I have more individual assets I've made for videos, because that could be a fun video too. Anyways, that has been it for me. Thank you everybody for watching. If you like this, please subscribe. If you support this channel, it supports me. All these channels are mine. But this is sort of stuff I wanted to do on the side because I feel like I could help those interested in editing. Because I learned a lot of this on my own. You can follow tutorials, but it's hard to find tutorials that specifically align with stuff you want to do. I just know it takes a lot of time, and it's a lot of the time you may not find it worth it, and you kind of just want one thing. So that was a ramble and a half. I'll see you later.